As a Providence community, we know we are better together. In 2021, donors to Providence Foundations of Oregon gave to advance research, healthcare, and wellness across the state. And their number one reason for giving is you. As a caregiver embodying the Providence mission, you inspire donors to fund hundreds of programs and services that otherwise would not exist. Because of you, we are able to provide support for families who need financial assistance, create and sustain essential programs not covered by insurance, and fund research to explore new ways to treat and even cure our patients. Thank you. And many of you also choose to donate to Providence. This year, we hope you'll join our Caregiver campaign and make a gift in support of programs that make such a difference for the patients and communities we are privileged to serve. You can choose to support your local ministry, our PMG clinics, or even support your fellow caregivers by giving to the Helping Hand Fund. The choice is yours, and your gift stays local. Every gift makes an impact in our communities and can help support programs, resources, treatments, research, and more. Your extraordinary work makes a difference, and the compassionate care you provide every day brings the Providence mission to life in our ministries. Together, we can help make Providence, Oregon better for our patients, caregivers, and communities. To learn more, make a donation, or sign up for a payroll deduction, visit providencefoundations.org/employee. As a not-for-profit healthcare system, we depend on donations to help deliver outstanding care to all, regardless of ability to pay. With your generous giving, you are joining a special group of caregivers helping to advance the mission of Providence throughout Oregon. We are deeply grateful for your generosity.